Hello and welcome to Unofficially Eurovision, the podcast where we talk all things Eurovision news, guests and games. My name is Josh, I am a musician and Eurovision superfan from the UK, and on tonight's show, I predict the Eurovision Semi-Finals, we discuss the pre-party shambles, and I talk to a Western Armenian, Cypriot, Turkish, British, from London, Eurovision YouTuber who lives in America. Now, isn't that easy to remember? Don't forget to hit that follow button to stay up to date with the podcast, and without further ado, cue the music. Before I get into our question of the day, I should address the elephant in the room first. That being the month absence of this podcast after promising you a weekly, or at very least bi-weekly show until the contest in May. Some of you will know this already, but I was involved in a hit and run with a bike. I was the hit part, not the run, thankfully, whilst walking the day after the first two episodes went live. Since then, I wasn't able to do anything for a few weeks, but now we're back, so let's get on with what you came here to listen to, the predictions. So at this point, Eurovision 2022 is about a month away. We know all of the songs that will be competing, and as of last week, we now know the running order of the semi-finals, or should I say now a couple weeks ago. Now, over the next few moments, I'll discuss who I believe will qualify for the grand final, who I think is out, and most importantly, why. We begin with, as we always should, with semi-final 1, and we start at the very beginning with Albania, Latvia, and Lithuania. These are the first three songs we will hear, and I have grouped them together for one very important reason. For those of you who aren't aware, I love myself a good stat, and that stat is that the first three songs in the semi-final have never all qualified for the grand final since the introduction of them in 2004. Now, there is one technicality to this stat, in that in 2008, Sweden, represented by Charlotte Perrelli with the song Hero, failed to qualify from position 2 in semi-final 2, whilst the songs performing first and third qualified. However, Sweden was saved by the jury, as is often the case nowadays, and managed to qualify for the final thanks to a special vote that only happened in 2008, which allowed juries alone to choose the 10th and final qualifier. Now, all this means that, statistically speaking, at least one of Albania, Latvia and Lithuania will fail to qualify for the final. Now, Albania, opening the show, says to me that they should qualify, as performing first means the producers generally have faith that the song could do well. As well as Albania, I believe the Ukraine, the Netherlands, Norway, Greece and Portugal are what I would call lock qualifiers. Songs I believe will definitely be in the grand final on the 14th of May. Whilst to most people, even if they don't like the songs, Ukraine, the Netherlands, Norway and Greece, as well as Albania, will probably be songs that we expect to qualify. Portugal may not fall into the same category. However, I believe Maro's effortless performance style, intimate staging, if they keep it the same as Festival de Canção, and live harmonies being produced by her excellent backing vocalists, will be enough to wow over juries and possibly do very well with the televote. On the other end of the spectrum, I believe Bulgaria and Croatia will not qualify. I don't think I need to say much more about Bulgaria. However, a lot of people, including myself, do like Croatia. Coming after Portugal, a similar acoustic laid-back style song, and before Denmark, a ballad that grabs the attention by exploding into a rock song, I think it will unfortunately just fall short of the top 10. Speaking of Denmark, however, that falls into the final and largest category. Songs that could go either way. Those are Latvia, Lithuania, Switzerland, Slovenia, Moldova, Denmark, Austria, Iceland and Armenia. To quickly explain why all of these songs are here, Latvia, if done right, could win this semi-finals televote, but could also quite happily finish last with the juries at the same time. Lithuania is classy and unique, but could it be too unique to qualify? Switzerland, for me, is the hardest to predict. I always believe that staging is important at the contest, but I believe bad staging is less likely to ruin an amazing song than good staging is to elevate a mediocre song. And this is my problem with Switzerland. It could quite happily finish last in this semi-final. However, if they can create an atmospheric experience, they could finish in the top 3 with ease. Slovenia could be a shock qualifier, as could Denmark. It just depends on the mood of Europe on that night. And like we seem to say every year, Denmark's qualified with worse before. Next is Moldova, a mediocre song that not many people have been talking about, and even less seem to be expecting to qualify before the pre-parties. Does that sound like deja vu? Probably because it is. Remember them in 2018? Although, of course, like this year, it did have its fans. It wasn't until we saw the live performance that most people even thought it could qualify, and then it finished 10th in the final. Moldova this year could be on the same trajectory, especially if the rumours are true and they're planning on putting an actual train on stage for their performance. Austria could be the biggest disappointment. Despite being represented by one of the world's most exciting and upcoming artists in Lumix, DJ acts don't tend to do well at the contest. Just look at another world-famous DJ, Darude, in 2019, who finished last in their semi-final. However, there is still a lot of potential with the song they have, and Pia Maria's vocals are improving constantly. Finally, Iceland and Armenia. I believe Iceland could fall into the same category as Croatia, being lost and forgotten. However, Iceland has more atmospheric potential than Croatia, whereas Armenia, closing the show, could do really, really well. Rosalind has become one of my favourite songs this year, and if you're a fan of Lumineers, of Monsters and Men, or bands that are similar to that, you are sure to love it. I want to see them in the final and genuinely believe they could be a dark horse for a top 10 finish. As of April 2022, however, the countries I predict to qualify are the already mentioned Albania, Ukraine, the Netherlands, Norway, Greece and Portugal, as well as Armenia, Lithuania, Moldova and Austria. Semi-final 2 is equally as difficult to predict, although arguably with a higher quality of songs involved. My lock qualifiers for this semi-final are Sweden, Poland, Azerbaijan, Australia, Finland, Cyprus and the Czech Republic. Now, I believe Sweden and Poland are the only songs that pretty much everyone will agree will be in the final. Azerbaijan and Australia both fall into a similar category, so one of them could be easily forgotten about. However, I think they both should qualify, even if one of them is only a borderline qualifier. Finland is opening the show with a decent rock song, and being represented by someone as famous as the Rasmus should be enough to see them through. Cyprus depends a bit on the staging and live vocals, and the Czech Republic does need to improve. However, I'm struggling to see a scenario where they fail to make the grand final, although, as the weeks go by, it is slowly seeming like more of a possibility that they could. On the other end of the spectrum once again, the only country I believe definitely will not be qualifying is Georgia. Although, recently thanks to the pre-parties, a lot more people are thinking that maybe they could. That leaves, hold on a sec, Israel, Malta, San Marino, Serbia, Ireland, Estonia, North Macedonia, Romania, Montenegro and Belgium vying for my final 3 spots. We begin with 3 songs, Israel, Malta and San Marino. All amazing vocalists, but with arguably mediocre songs that will depend on staging to succeed. Israel performing second in between Finland and Serbia does not help it. And despite Malta and San Marino's entrance, Emma Muscat and Achille Lauro's incredible success in the Eurovision host country Italy, I am unsure of how that will translate to the worldwide public. I do, however, believe that Malta will qualify with the jury, as they so often do. Serbia is next, and similar to a number of songs in semi-final 1, the mood of Europe on the night will decide their qualification or not. For me, it's the hardest to predict, as it could finish in the bottom 3, or the top 3, and neither would surprise me. Ireland and Estonia are in a similar position, in that they are both very good and catchy songs, with a lot of potential to do well, and have suffered from messy staging in the past performances. Now, whilst both songs are some of my favourites and both criminally not talked about enough, I have a horrible feeling Ireland will do something similar to what they did last year and end up finishing near the bottom again. North Macedonia could also suffer from being in the easily forgotten category, like Georgia. However, I believe there is still a lot of potential with Circles to get close to qualification, if performed well. Finally, we have Romania, Montenegro and Belgium. For me, all 3 of these countries are on the cusp. Romania could sneak into the top 10, as could Montenegro and Belgium. However, if Vladana and Jeremy can perform incredibly well live in Turin, they could be on to do really well. Montenegro could potentially do a North Macedonia 2019 and win the jury vote if her vocals improve more. However, I have more concerns with Belgium, as in recent years they haven't staged songs well. 2017 only just came together in time, 2018 was too simple, 2019 was a car crash, and 2021 was poor. However, in 2017 and 2021, the songs they had and the fact they were represented by well-known stars in Blanche and especially Hooverphonic helped them qualify. I don't know how much faith I have in them though. Despite all of this, as of April 2022, my 10 qualifiers would be the 7 mentioned Sweden, Poland, Azerbaijan, Australia, Finland, Cyprus, and the Czech Republic, as well as Estonia, Serbia, and Montenegro. Although I would like to add, I would not be surprised to see Belgium, Ireland, or Romania especially qualify in the place of one of the already mentioned countries. However, now it's time to do the news. Now, the news will be fairly short this week. We'll very quickly go over the pre-parties and a couple of other bits of news, as now we know all the songs, there's not as much to talk about. Now, we start with the Barcelona pre-party, which, to put it simply, was a shambles, and the audio engineer needs firing. However, a number of countries gave debut live performances, whether that be for better or for worse. Then we travelled to London, the UK's Eurovision party, moved to the Hard Rock Hotel after the old Café de Paris closed down due to COVID-19. However, as always, the British Eurovision fans were the most excitable of all because, well, I'm British and I'm biased and there's like 12 of us, so we need to represent. We also had parties from Israel called Israel Calling and Amsterdam called Eurovision in Concert, which, as always, was the biggest, with nearly 30 of the 40 countries showcasing their songs to the public. We've now had live performances from almost every country we have yet to see perform live, so now we have a much better idea of who is likely to qualify for the final, and most importantly, take the trophy home in May. However, in other news, both the OGAE and the INFE polls have begun. Now, if you don't know what those are, they are both fan polls that are created by various fan groups, OGAE being the most well-known and recognised of them, and Eurovision fans from around the globe come together to decide on their favourites. Currently, the UK is comfortably in the top 10 in both fan polls, which is nothing short of a miracle. So hopefully that can be a good omen for the grand final in May. Outside of that, there are now less than 30 days until the first semi-final on May the 10th. So I think everyone's now starting to get a little bit excited about it. Now it's time to spill some tea with a VIP, and my VIP today is a multicultural media manager who runs her own Eurovision YouTube channel with over 28,000 subscribers and nearly 10 million views. It is, of course, the fantastic Noosh101. Noosh, how are you?
Good. How are you, Josh?
I'm very good, very excited to have you on here. Well, I think we'll start off straight away by talking about the multicultural part of that first statement, because one thing that anyone who's watched your channel and your videos will know over on YouTube is that you seem to come or have lived from everywhere and anywhere in the world.
Oh my God, I know, right? I'm just Mrs. World. Everyone, I don't know if you saw this, but on Twitter, someone made this meme about that I was from everywhere, and I had no idea that it was happening. So people were messaging me in the Eurovision community, me like, you're like really stirring some shit up, and I was like, what? I go on there and I realised like someone did it. But yes, I am from everywhere. Proud and loud.
But that's a good thing, isn't it? That's a good thing. You'd like to say I am from everywhere. What is it? Cypriot Armenian.
Yeah.
Who's from the UK.
Yeah.
From London, lives in America, am I right in saying?
Yeah.
And am I right in saying something about some of your family hails from Turkey?
Well, this is what the really complicated life story of Noosh is basically because of the Armenian genocide that happened in 1915. They all lived in Turkey. That's where my ancestors were from originally. And then after that, they ran away, and a lot of them went to Cyprus, and that is where my grandparents were born. And they were bred fully in the Cypriot culture there. So I then had them come over to the UK because a lot of Cypriots did. Especially because of the war that was happening in Cyprus. Again, it was happening with Turkey, so they all had to come over here again. Then they, were here, and my parents were born here, and I was born here. So I'm very British in the way that I am bred as well, but I'm also very Armenian and very Cypriot Armenian, which is, it's hard to explain, but I've got all those cultures in me, and I would find it weird to not say that because that is who I am. And in every aspect of my household, if you were in it, you would see the Armenian flag, the Cypriot flag. There's UK flag. Like when I'm in America, I'm very proud to be British too, because obviously they make such a big deal out of being English over there. Oh my God, they're obsessed with the accent.
Do you get that a lot when you're out in America then? A lot of people come up to you and being like, oh my God, you're British? Oh my God.
Oh my God, you have no idea. It doesn't end. Sometimes it's just I like the attention, but it's just stop. It's too much sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you can have too much attention, too much of a good thing.
No, yeah. It's just because the things they say sometimes it's just oh my God, you know the Queen? And I'm like, obviously not.
I met her for Sunday roast last week, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, we're busy mates.
Yeah, we had tea and crumpets on the veranda.
Oh yeah, her corgis are my best mates.
No. Well, they're only one now, isn't it? Only one now, corgi.
Oh God, I didn't even know that.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's going to make me question it now. I think there's only one left. I think one died.
Probably, she's had so many throughout the years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, so it would be weird for me not to talk about those nationalities and ethnicities. And I guess when it comes to Eurovision, it's all about that, sharing cultures. So
and being proud as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, lovely jubbly. Well, let's talk a little bit about your Eurovision stuff. So you first started out on Eurovision Hub.
Yes.
The sort of collaborative channel as it was back then, as it still is. How did you get involved with that, and what sort of made you get involved with it in the first place?
Yeah, so basically I started my channel off, must have been 15 years ago, but really not knowing what I was doing. I had no clue. I was doing vlogs, I was doing beauty, I was doing really awful dressing up as clown things. I don't even know what I was doing. If you go really far back, I don't recommend it because it's actually terrifying, and I've contemplated taking it down, but I didn't know what I was doing. So, and I just knew I wanted to entertain, and I was, always interested in that. But YouTube always was that thing that I was this is something I feel, connected to, and I feel like I would belong there. So I was just doing everything. And one of the things I was doing, as I just said, was vlogs. So I was vlogging just my day to day. And I also vlogged one of my Eurovision parties that I had when I was, every year my family had one with all the Armenians, they would come round. So I vlogged one of those one year. And I guess Eurovision Hub at the time, because they hadn't begun yet, they were looking for people that were interested in Eurovision. And there wasn't really a Eurovision community at that point. It was just wee blogs, really, and Alicia and Michelle, I think. They were the two that I remember doing kind of Eurovision content, but there was nobody. So I guess there wasn't a lot of people online talking about it. And they found my measly channel of, I think, maybe 100 subscribers. I had nothing. But I had that video which was out there. So they found me from then. They contacted me and they were just like, oh, we're looking for people that are interested in Eurovision. We want to do this, collaborative channel. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. This sounds great. Reacting to Eurovision stuff. I was already doing that with my brother at home every single year. So I thought, why not do it? But, with other people that are interested. So that's how I got on there. And we basically started this channel together with the whole team, which was amazing to see it grow the way that it has now. It's mad. So yeah, that's kind of how it all began, really.
And then we skip ahead a year or two to 2020, and you move over onto your own channel and just stick with doing your stuff on your own channel.
Yeah.
So how was that transition? Because I know obviously that there was some not incredible parts of the transition, but like what was it like going and just doing it on your own channel instead of with loads of other people and having it be entirely your opinion and entirely your voice being heard?
It was weird because I was actually quite scared when I was leaving Eurovision Hub. I thought, oh, is anyone even going to watch this? Is anyone even going to care about what I have to think? Because I didn't feel like I had fans even in Eurovision. I just didn't, in Eurovision Hub, I didn't think that there was people that, you know, liked what I was doing. So I just felt like my confidence at that point was quite low when it comes to the stuff. But I did it because I knew that I enjoyed what I was doing. So for me, it was like, I'm just doing this for fun anyway. If people want to watch it, great. If not, whatever. So it wasn't just me. I think me and Luke did it together at that time. We both kind of went our own ways and we were both kind of keeping each other, you know, hooked into it. We're like, you know, just do this, do that, be fine. And we were each other's support system actually at that moment because we both had to go through that and it worked. So
it clearly has done very well because you're both doing exceptionally well now. I think Luke's nearly around 20,000 mark as well. So like, you're both doing incredibly well with it. So I think it was definitely a good decision. I think, should we call it a decision? It was a good decision to go across. But
100%.
We'll talk a little bit because outside of Eurovision, you said to me before like that you do other work as well. Because am I right in saying that you work with the Armenian Institute? Is that still a thing that happens? It is.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad I've done my research correctly.
He has done his research. That's for sure.
And you do like social media and that sort of thing and graphic design because I know you studied graphic design. And so what was that sort of collaboration connection with, and like how did that come across? Did you approach them or did they approach you?
So obviously the London Armenian community, well, if anyone doesn't know this, is the Armenian community here is not big at all. There's maybe like, especially in London, I think there's maybe 10,000 just over in London. It's not that big and it's only gotten recently at that to that size. So everyone does know each other in the community pretty much here. It's very different to the American community where I've moved. There's 100,000 just in Detroit. So it's very different. But everyone does know each other here pretty much. And I was lucky enough to know someone that was at AI and was like, we have a job going for graphic design and social media content. And I looked at their website and I was like, it needs some help. We can, you know, give some input here. And I'd already started my YouTube channel at that point. So they wanted someone doing their YouTube channel and running that as well and doing the graphic design side. So I was like, you know what, this sounds perfect. I applied. They liked what I had to do. They looked at my portfolio and I got the job from there. And it's been great because obviously my passion for Armenian culture and keeping that alive is a big deal to me. So I can bring my skills that I've learned, you know, even with my YouTube channel and kind of cross them over there, which is
they're all very transferable. Yes, definitely. And do you speak much of Armenian, Western Armenian at all, anything like that?
So I grew up with it being my first language. That I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak any English when I was growing up, even though I was born here. And my school actually had to tell my mom, you need to speak to her in English because she is not speaking proper English. And I would like say random words in Armenian. But as it's gotten like to this point, like I've been living here was living here for so long, I just lost my Armenian, like slowly. I mean, I obviously can understand it very well.
Yeah.
If someone's talking to me, and yes, it is Western Armenian that I speak, I cannot understand Eastern very well. It's too fast for me, and it's got a lot of like Russian, like words in it that I don't really get. But anyway, so now I've got to the point where I really need to like learn this more now. So I think me and my husband are gonna go to lessons again and just, you know, get that going again, because it's something that I really want to pass down to kids one day. Like, I think it's very important because that is a dying language now, the Western Armenian dialect. So yeah, hopefully.
doing everything to sort of keep it going. No, that's definitely the same here. I mean, I'm about as Scottish as you are, but I've sort of got all my family heritage up in Scotland, so I'm sort of trying to teach myself Scottish Gaelic to like sort of
awesome.
like do it. I'm just like, I'm just like, I feel like it'd be so cool to like write a song or something in Scottish Gaelic. So I'm just like, let's try it. So yeah, no, I definitely like see like all the cultures and whatnot very, especially all the dying, because Scottish Gaelic is another dying language, and it's like trying to do something to keep it alive is very important, I think. Yeah,
it's very important, especially because like English is so overspoken in the world. Like, we don't hear many other languages at all, like especially online and social media. Like, you don't.
Oh
really,
God, no.
And no one's learning anything. And back in like my grandmother's years, like they would speak 6 languages, and that was just normal. And I would just be like, we're so dumb today. Like,
yes, I'd love to know like loads of different languages, but I'm just like, I've grown up the whole time just with English and whatnot, and it's so difficult when you've just grown up knowing one language to actually know where to start and like how to like go for it. So yeah, I think it's definitely one thing that could be improved, especially in this country, is sort of learning different languages.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, right. Let's move on to our mini game. Now, our mini game this week is called Eurovision or Poor Decision. Now, there are 3 rounds to this mini game. The first 2 rounds are worth 1 point, and the third round is worth double points, 2 points each. Now, what is Eurovision or Poor Decision? I hear you lovely people at home listening to this asking. Well, I will describe to our guest and to you 3 different scenarios. Your job and Noosh's job is quite simply, well, pretends that happened on the first take. Is quite simply it did. Of course it did. Yeah. Is to guess what it is, whether it is a Eurovision or something that's happened at Eurovision or a poor decision that someone has made on a night out. Now, for those of you who have listened to the first 2 episodes of the podcast, you will know that 1 + 1 + 2 is only 4, and in all the other mini games, 6 points have been available. To combat that, Noosh will be able to get bonus points if the scenario is from Eurovision and she guesses the year right. Now, to make it a little bit easier, it's from the last 10 years. So only 2013 to 2022. Yeah, it's not from all the way back in 1956.
Thank God, because I was going to say the back in the day, like 70s, 60s, there's no way I'm going to.
I was going to say, I don't think I would either. So technically, there's a maximum of 7 points available. So you've actually got a little bit of advantage potentially. Who knows?
Let's go. Watch me flop at this anyway.
Without further ado, let's get on with the game. Noosh, are you ready?
I am ready.
Perfect. Here is the first scenario. A lady enters, pretty as ever in pink, as she gazes at the cars driving behind her. She sits down at the bar and mutedly preaches about her favourite number, much to the disdain of everyone around her. 2 Barbie dolls come to rest next to her and steal her drinks, all while she incompetently sings along with them, blissfully unaware of what is happening. The Barbie dolls return to the dance floor as the lady collapses onto the table and the room begins to spin. She stares up into the ceiling, all whilst still singing about her favourite number. Is that Eurovision or is that a poor decision?
Josh, you're really making this hard. I really don't know. Like, it so could be Eurovision, but I don't think so. Like, I don't think so. I can't.
What are you going to say? Eurovision or poor decision?
Oh my God. It's like, it totally could be, but when has there been Barbie dolls? God, I bet you there is.
Remember that the English language does include metaphors. So it might not necessarily mean literal Barbie dolls. And this isn't helping. This could still be either one, but like it doesn't necessarily mean literal Barbie dolls.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to think the songs as someone singing a number as well, because there definitely is. 100%. Okay, I'm going to say it's a poor decision.
She said it's a poor decision. Incorrect.
No!
It is a Eurovision. But I will give you the option to get a bonus point if you can guess the year. So it's from the last 10 years. So it could only be 2013 to 2022.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen 2022 yet. So technically only 2021.
20, okay, right. Crap, what is this? It didn't qualify, did it?
I mean, I'd love to say I don't know, but I do know.
Okay.
But who knows?
2000. I don't know what it is, so it could be 2012. I don't
2012?
know. No.
The year before 2013. When I said
crap.
it'd only be from only from 2013 onwards.
I'm literally losing the plot today, aren't I? I told you.
It's the COVID brain. It's the COVID brain.
Honestly, the fog is bad, people. Okay.
So after 2013.
Well, I'm thinking it can't be in 2016. That was my favorite year. It could not be in that. If that isn't 2000 I'm completely guessing it. 2015.
Incorrect. No, it was 2019. It was Ireland with Sarah McTernan with 22.
Oh my god, I didn't like that song very well. That's probably why.
That would be right. Yeah, because they had the bar, they had the lady, the Barbie dolls come up. She didn't qualify. I think she finished last in her semi.
Yeah,
or
she
second
didn't.
to last.
I was gonna say she definitely didn't qualify with that one. I would have 100% remembered. Okay, yeah, no.
Right. No. On to number two. Scenario number 2. Two ladies slowly speak to one another, words slurred in memories of the night just past, as two men watch them from afar, making sure they are safe and sound. One of the ladies takes a step too far and is suddenly attacked by a hedgerow, which appears almost alive as it engulfs her. When she re-emerges, one of the men can be seen standing closer, laughing at her stupidity. The other lady decides that she should take a rest on a nearby step, and they all sing a dawn chorus of laughter and fun together.
Oh my god, Josh, you're really bringing them out.
Is it a Eurovision or a poor decision?
This has got to be a poor decision.
Poor decision. You sure? Final answer?
No, hold on. Give me one more minute. Okay, come on, brain, switch on. This is going to make me look like the least biggest Eurovision fan ever. It's okay.
It's a bit tricky. It's tricky.
It is tricky.
Do you want to go with poor decision, though? Do you want to go with poor decision?
Yes. That was my first answer.
I know. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't... Everyone listening, I definitely wasn't nodding my head at that because that is correct. It is poor decision.
Yes, see? Thank you, Josh. But no, that was my original. That was 100% my original.
That was your original guess. Yes. So yes, it is poor decision. That is a point. So we move on to scenario 3. Lightning strikes as the disco begins. Crystals elegantly hang from the ceiling as Count Dracula's doppelganger lurks in the shadows. The lights turn to red as 3 naked demons appear from under a bedsheet and surprise us all with an acrobatic display of skill and power. This continues for a while, quite a while, in fact, until the crystals disappear into the heavens and a fire breaks out. To finish it all off, a lady stands up from under the bedsheet and everyone cheers like that's supposed to be impressive, as Dracula is also hoisted into the heavens.
I was like 100% yes, and then you kept going with the sheets part, and I'm not too sure now.
Is it a Eurovision or a poor decision?
Yay! I thought it was 100%. It's My Life, that guy, but now I'm like, it can't be.
What makes you say that to both of them? It can and then it can't be.
I don't remember there being a woman involved in that song, but maybe there was. Literally, I need to do like a recap of all the old ones because it's making me question myself now. I'm gonna say poor decision. No, it isn't. This is definitely a Eurovision song.
Oh, are you sure about that? You changed your mind very quickly there. Last minute. Yes, it is Eurovision.
Yeah,
yes, it is. Would you like to take a guess at the year for a bonus point, and possibly even the song for an extra bonus point?
Okay. Oh God, the Romania song was it? "It's My Life," right?
What year was it?
2016, 15, 14, 13.
Are you going to go with 2013?
2013.
That is correct. And the song is Romania, Cesar with It's My Life. So that is 2 bonus points with absolutely no help from the host whatsoever.
But I did think that's what it was.
You did think that song.
But I don't remember there being a woman, but there is, isn't there?
Right at the very end, there was this there's all the dark creatures, whatever, the vampire creatures, whatever they are. And then a woman comes out in the middle at the end and does like another fancy dance thing.
Okay.
At least I think it was a woman. I think
who knows, Josh? You'll never know with Eurovision. Oh
right, that is perfect. At the end of that round, you have 4 points out of a possible 6 or 7. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All by yourself as well, which is incredibly impressive. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I did give hints to all of the other guests, so I thought it's only fair that I give a couple of hints here.
Good. At least I'm not the only one. I feel like.
Was different games though, so maybe those games were easier or harder. So who knows?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably a lot harder. A lot easier. Sorry, a lot easier. So that's why this was a lot harder. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. We move on to the fan Q&A. Now, you guys. First of all, you guys had a lovely go at me after the first couple of episodes of the podcast because I did not announce people's names when they submitted the questions. I just read out the questions. So this time, when I asked you to submit questions for Noosh, I asked you to put your name in as well, if you wanted to. So some of these questions are from anonymous people and some of these are from people who have put their names in. So I'm going to ask Noosh some of your questions now. So our first question comes from Niall, and it is, what country do you look forward to reacting to the most each year? So without knowing anything about songs in general, what country is your favourite to react to?
Oh, well, throughout the years, it's definitely changed. It used to be Sweden, obviously. I think everyone thought the same about that. But now I definitely look forward to countries like, like Lithuania. Like they've showed so much potential over the last few years. And, there's been so many surprises that it's so hard for me to say one country. Obviously, I look forward to, like Cyprus and the Greek island, obviously Greece. And they always have... normally they have good songs, so for me those are the songs that I'd go for. Armenia, not so much anymore. That changed in the last few years because the situation of them not being there and not taking it very seriously, which I think they are starting to do now again, which is good. But I couldn't tell you one country, honestly. I think, but Lithuania, I would say, is one of them, 100%.
I definitely think Lithuania always seems to send something that's at least a bit different, sometimes a bit classy, a bit quirky. You never really know what you're going to get. And I think that makes it interesting.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And Albania as well has shocked me over the years.
Yes, Albania's.
Oh my God, yeah.
I still listen to quite a lot of their songs.
100%. But Moldova is probably one of the OGs for me.
Moldova's so weird. I love it.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, there's always something a little bit nuts in there. And I think that's what we all like. And I like the stuff back from the early 2000s, like that like more traditional stuff was the reason why I think I started listening to Moldova's songs. And I didn't really know anything about the country before that. So I think Eurovision has taught me a lot. From looking about
all of these songs. Places.
Definitely.
Lovely. Right. Our next question comes from an anonymous person who has said, "What is your favourite song this year?"
Oh, putting me on the spot. I'm literally about to do my top 40 in my like semi-finals after this. So I'm come to that point where I'm like, it was so difficult for me this year, but there is one song that I watch it and listen to it and I think this is winning material, and that is Norway, Subwoofer.
Yeah,
Give your wolf
nice.
a banana.
Nice.
It's so like, nuts as well, but it's a good song to me. I that's one of those, it's in the realm of like, and one of those iconic songs that we will be playing for many, many years, and their look and everything
definitely.
about the whole thing is just great. So yeah,
I'd say definitely, or Subwoofer or Norway is definitely the country that's grown on me the most this year. I'd say. I think when it first released and it was like the national finals and whatnot, and they had like Elsie Bay had her song in it, I was like, oh yeah, this Elsie, please win. But now I've been listening to it more. I'm like, oh my god, this song is so good. It's so
it is
fun.
so good.
It's so catchy.
It's so good. I love it, and I every time I've seen the performance, the last like 20 seconds, it just feels like you're like, this is an anthem,
Yeah,
so,
no, definitely with all the pyro and all the fire. Yes, definitely. Right,
it's great. They know what they're doing.
Yes, they do. They always do, Norway. Right, our next question comes from Dan, and we sort of touched on this as like your jobs that are currently doing, but what is your dream job? If you could have any job in the world, what would it be? Would you keep it the same or would you change it for something else?
Honestly, I wouldn't change what I'm doing now. I really wouldn't.
Nice.
I absolutely love what I do. To be able to work from the comfort of my home, to be just, entertaining and also reacting to music every day is just something that I've always wanted to do. I mean, the only other thing that I would add to it maybe is doing some kind of food related channel, because I absolutely love food. So I'm a foodie. Like every single person tells me you need to start a channel just for food and tasting it and reacting to foods. And I would love to do that, but I would gain a lot of weight. So I'd have to exercise a lot.
Then you could start a gym channel.
Oh, there we go. Fitness. Imagine. No, Josh, that does not need to happen.
Okay. No.
I do like fitness, don't get me wrong, but for me it's just I'm not a guru in that aspect. I like to keep healthy, but I'm not overdoing it,
Fair enough. Right. Next question comes from Josh, not me, unfortunately. But it is, if you could visit any country in the world, what would it be and why?
Ooh. Somewhere I haven't been, I guess. So let me think. There's quite a few places, but mainly in Asia. I really love Asia. I've been to Singapore and Bali.
Nice.
And the food there, the culture, is just the best thing ever. They're just, I love it. So I really would love to go to Japan and South Korea, because they're one of my bucket list countries where the food is amazing again. But I've always been obsessed with the culture there. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about Japanese architecture, art, and the food, and just everything about they have this festival around this time of year. Actually, it's called the Cherry Blossom Festival, which is the most expensive time. It's the most expensive time to go, but apparently it's incredible. So maybe one day if I can afford it, but right now I definitely can't afford doing that right now. Yeah,
I was gonna say, I definitely think that having money is very important to go and traveling, and one of the things that I think definitely is, I'm guessing you sort of are more of a freelancer yourself, sort of you work for yourself. Yes, and I think as a freelancer, money can sometimes be a little bit interesting.
Yes,
I think that's the word. Were you interesting?
It's roller coaster, kind of situation. You'll do really well, and then all of a sudden you'll have nothing to do for ages, and then you'll do really well and have too much to do.
Yeah, it's like you wait an hour for a bus and 2 come along at once, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, love that. Absolutely love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Our final question that we've got time for comes from, again, someone else who is anonymous. And this question is, have you ever wanted to actually take part in Eurovision before?
Oh my God, yes. I would absolutely love to. Honestly, that would be my dream.
What country would you want to represent, though? UK, Armenia, Cyprus, Greece, Lithuania, maybe?
God, the options, there's too many. No, honestly, I would actually, for any of those countries, accept like presenting or something. Like, maybe not, I'm not a singer, let's be honest. Like, I am not a singer. I'm never going to be a singer, so I wouldn't be singing. But I would like to, like, maybe be involved with production somehow, or maybe just helping with a track, or even, as I said, presenting would be amazing. I would die. I would actually die. And that would be my dream of mine one day.
Definitely. There is so much presenting, so much fun as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the whole everyone's attention is on you, and like you're the most important person for a minute. It's brilliant.
I mean, what else? Like, no, I'm joking. I'm not that self-obsessed, but it is a lot of fun, and I would like to. I mean, I know Armenia's won Junior Eurovision already this year, so I was hoping to go, like, just as press maybe this year to Yerevan, but even that would be a dream. So if I'm able to do that, I'd be happy, and I'd die happy as well. So I've never been to the contest, so to be able to go would be amazing.
Cool. Lovely jubbly. Right. We are slowly running out of time on this episode, so we move on to the final segment of the show, the, as usual, incredibly easy to pronounce 60-second Eurovision extravaganza. Now, Noosh will have 60 seconds to answer as many trivia-related questions that are related to Eurovision as she possibly can. Now, you are carrying over a score of 4 from the previous minigame. This will be added together with whatever score you get to give your final score at the end of the show. Now, we've had 2 guests on previously. We currently have on 9 points sitting Aaron Sibley, who is in the lead. And in second place is Jude Kennedy with 8. So if you can get 4 points or more, you will be a level with or above Jude. If you can get 5 points, you will be joint in the lead.
God, there's no way I can beat Jude. There's no way I can beat Jude. He is like an encyclopedia for Eurovision, this boy.
He is so clever, yeah.
Right. Come on, bring it on.
Are you ready? I will start the timer.
Yes, hopefully.
Cool.
I'm good.
Right,
Let's
ready?
Go. Yeah.
Here we go. At Eurovision 2021, the top 3 songs were all in non-English. When was the last time this happened?
Non-English? Oh my God. 2000. Does it in the last 10 years? No, it could be
just
anything.
Any. Just say it.
2008.
No, 1995.
Oh my God!
What position in the Eurovision running order is considered the position of death?
The running order is the 16th?
Second. Portugal won Eurovision for the first time in 2017. How many contests had they competed in before that?
Oh my God. 4?
48.
48?
Unfortunately, that is the end of your time.
Oh my God. I am so bad with being put on the spot.
I think that's what it is. That's what it is. It's getting put on the spot is sort of like... I'm so bad at that. To say what you were saying about position of death is position 2, because it's sort of it's the position that no one's ever won from. No one's ever won from position 2, and it's considered one that doesn't often qualify from the semi-finals either.
Right.
So although it's not the worst, but yeah.
I'm learning on this now. So
exactly, you learn something new every single day, as they say. And Portugal in 2017. That was their 49th contest. They were at the time they were the
first people, so I don't really like one of the first. I swear they were like one of the first countries.
They've been around for a long time, and they'd never won until that moment. And they were the longest running country that had never won up until that point.
Salvador, literally, he brought it. I remember that though; it was a big deal. I was trying to go to Italy this year, but it's not going to happen for the visa situation for me.
Oh, right, yeah.
It'll happen one day.
2023, when the UK brings it, and it's in home and it's hosted in the UK.
Imagine, I can't even visualize that. I mean, apart from watching the Eurovision movie, like in the UK, I was like,
I'm just like, of course, that makes sense that it's held in the UK, yeah.
So funny.
No, I think Sam will do excellently this year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whether the UK, whether the rest of Europe like it or not, I think that's Europe's fault.
Yeah,
as a salty Brit. 100%. Right, that does mean though that we are at the end of the show. Noosh, after your incredible score of
oh my god, don't! It's so embarrassing. So embarrassing
on the 60-second Eurovision Extravaganza. That brings your grand total up to 4, which puts you in bronze medal position at the moment.
Yeah,
so you're third place. Third place of everyone who's ever taken part in the show. So that's pretty good going.
I'm going to be last by the end of the series, honestly. Watch me. Like, no one's ever going to watch me again. This girl doesn't know anything about Eurovision. Oh, well.
At first, I think some of those questions might have been a little bit hard as well. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But yes, thank you to everyone who has tuned in and tuned in and listened to the show this week. Noosh has been fantastic. So thank you very much to Noosh for coming on. Thank you very much to all of you for listening. And without further ado, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.